Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Glad you're joining us. This is Robert Burns here with Robert Russell, and we are starting our first live trading session in 2024. It's January 3rd, 6 a.m. here in Seattle, and we are ready. Getting this thing kicked off. Give me just a moment, and we will get the live stream running. And away we go. Okay, wanted to kick off the session today with a look at the news really quick. This is a tool that I'm going to send to you in chat. One that if you don't have, we highly encourage you to get this one because it's something that will give you, well, it'll help you avoid being blindsided by news that comes out. And you can be blindsided just about any day with things that can happen that are not on this list, but it's especially important, if you know things are coming, to be aware of them. And as an example, at 7 a.m. my time, meaning about an hour from now, we have a manufacturing report coming out. When you see USD here, that is one of the ones to watch for in particular. There's also at 11 a.m. FOMC meeting minutes. This is the Fed. Job openings. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the Eurozone. We've got the preliminary CPI, which is cost of living. Then tomorrow we've got the non-farm employment change, and Friday we've got the 800-pound gorilla, which is known as NFP, non-farm payrolls. That's payroll numbers that are not related to agriculture. This often is the biggest one of all because it shows the relative number of jobs. And it's a high impact event. And when you see these red folders here, this is something that's an indication that they are high impact. What I encourage you to do with the link that I just sent you is to create an account on Forex Factory. And this is going to the calendar. You see I'm logged into my account right up here. When you have this, you can come in and it'll automatically adjust to your time zone, which is really handy. You have to be logged into your account in order for that to happen. But when you do, you're going to see everything here. You can also filter this with this little guy right up here, that little green filter. Click that and you can choose, okay, I want not just red, but I want orange, because sometimes those can be very high impact as well. So I just turned on orange and notice we've got more on the list as if we needed more this week. But it's a very important thing to be aware of these. These can, if you're in a trade and you didn't know that, and non-farm payroll is tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. my time, this can be a tidal wave sometimes. So you have to really be conscientious about this. Is part of your checklist every day in your trading checklist. So what we're going to do today, first off, I want to let everybody know this live trading session has been updated. We're now running this until January 18th. So we have today, tomorrow, next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the following week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then after that, everybody has to be a paid customer to be in this live trading session. And then we'll be offering the live trading sessions the second and fourth Wednesday of the month for free to give our builders an opportunity to get prospects in to take a look at what we're up to. And that will be, so basically every other week. Now, what we're going to do is go through our trading checklist here real quick. The top of the list there we just did, which is check the news. The next one we're going to get into is looking at top-down analysis, drawing out the zones and the market structure. And then after we do that, and after there's some potential trades that are identified by my colleague, Robert Russell, and there may be no trades today. There may be a winning trade. There may be a losing trade. All of those are possibilities. You just never know in the market. But what we'll show you how to do is to pick high probability trades and their trading ideas. If you execute them, that really, it's very important to understand that that responsibility is yours. We're not giving you trading advice. If you choose to act upon it, that is your choice. Also, we'll get into position size, how to compute proper position sizes on your account on the basis of what broker you're using, what instrument you're trading, how much money you have in your account, where you're setting your stop. This is a really critical item that we'll get into. And we'll show you also, you want to check your position size. If you're trading on MT4 and MT5, it's really easy to forget this one. This is why this checklist is good, because these are things, like it's early where I am. So I'm admittedly a little blurry-eyed. Having this means I don't miss stuff. You have this, you don't miss stuff. So it's very important. Quick thing, just a quick plug for Tom Hugard's book. This is an excellent book. If you're new to trading, I highly recommend you get this book. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it in the Kindle format, the paperback. There's also an Audible, so you can listen to it on your walk or your workout or whatever you do. I like having the Audible and then coming back and reviewing the diagrams in the book, so I have the paper version. I have all three. I have the Kindle. I like it so much. So before we get into this is a very important thing, which is the disclaimer. Trading is risky. Your results will vary and are not guaranteed. This information is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice or a solicitation to invest. Trading Forex indices, metals, and other instruments is at the full discretion of the user, and users are fully and solely responsible for their own trading results. You could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment and should therefore evaluate your own risk tolerance before trading and only trade with money you can afford to lose. Any links in my post may contain affiliate referral links and may generate a reward for the referrer. And here's the punchline really at the bottom. Never risk funds you cannot afford to lose. So this is all stuff that's really critical. The other thing that really is critical, if you're new, don't trade real money. Trade a demo account. Don't worry about that. Worry about being skilled enough that if you can start to really increase your demo account, you're doing the right thing. And you're figuring out how everything works without having the pressure of it being real money. So what I want to do now is introduce my colleague, Robert Russell. Robert is just absolutely crushing it. And what's surprising to people, including me, is this guy's been trading for a year. Not 5 years, not 10 years, a year, pretty much. And over the period of time that we've known one another, the majority of that year, I have been his pal. We met next month will be a year ago, marketing a brokerage product and brokerage business that we're still involved in and very active with. That's when we met. That's where we met. And now here we are a year later, pretty much. And he's developed into a fine trader. He has a very basic style, which he'll show you, which is breakout trading and showing you support and resistance lines, showing you the basics of his strategy, which let me see if I have this just by some happy chance right here. This is what you'll see. We're going to do breakout strategy. He's going to show you the DAX, the Euro USD, the USD JPY, basics of support and resistance, trend lines, pivots, pivot points, the fair value gap. And this is the punchline. It's working. He has a very high percentage. That does not mean 100% though. He may have a losing day and it may be today. You just never know. But what we hope to do is show you how you can mitigate that. And if your wins outpace your losses and your wins are bigger than your losses, that's called profit. When the market opportunity presents itself, meaning it's slowish, I'll get into how to set up your platforms. We'll look at TradingView together. We'll look at a position size calculator that I personally believe is one of the most critical things, especially always when somebody's starting or when they're an experienced trader, to know that you're not over trading, that you're not under trading, that you're appropriately trading based on the risk that based on your risk tolerance. And we'll show you how that works. So with that, my friend, my pal from Ireland, Mr. Robert Russell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Robert Burns. It's like I'm walking in the big Hall of Fame with that introduction. So it is. Thank you very much.
You can pay me later.
Is that the $50?
That is.
So folks, welcome. It's great to see so many people here. As we say, new year, new goals. I've been watching the markets all morning, folks. I know there's news coming up in about 45, 50 minutes time. If we get a trade idea, we will enter, folks. But as I say, I will not enter just because there's people on a call and just because we got to find a trade idea. I got to have my confirmations. Everything has to align with what I would normally do outside of these calls. And if we get a trade, we will I will call the enter, folks, Paul. Folks, I will show you the entry, the stop loss, the take profit. But folks, this is not financial advice. No past profits guarantee future gains. And it's totally down to you if you want to take the trade, and it's totally down to you to close it as well and open it, okay? So I'm going to go on now and show the charts. So folks, this is just one that I've been watching. I think before Christmas we had quite a few entries on the USD JPY because it was continuously falling, okay? It was just constantly going down, going down, going down. And finally, it has broke the trend line, which it's great because now we've formed a new trend. So people thinking, oh, sure, we should jump in now straight away. Let's jump in. Folks, I'm on the 4-hour time frame here, okay? I always like to look into my charts on the bigger time frame first, just to see what is actually going on here. What I'm hoping for is the USD to push up a little bit and then to get rejected, okay, to get pushed back down. This is when then we look for the entry. I have my blue line up here. If I can get close to that, get rejected, get pushed back down, then we get an entry for it to continue to go up. I can show you this on the fib tracement when I have it done, but this is what I'm looking at on the USD JPY, okay? So we have our trend line, which is broken. That trend line no longer, folks, is available. It's no use to me now. What I liked on this chart was, if you look over here, folks, to the left, it's like when you're on the charts, you always look left. It's like you're driving a car. What do they say? Look left, look right. On the charts, you always are looking left because this is where all the action has happened.
Excuse me a moment, Robert. Is that level, that's your resistance level there is 143.86 on the blue line?
Yes, that is a level that I'm going to be watching very closely.
Great, thank you.
For a rejection at that level, retrace back down, grab some fair value gaps before kicking back up, folks, okay? Folks, I can't wait to the news, next week. Let's just say next week we'll have a nice there's not too much news, because when the news is coming in about 45 minutes, the markets will react differently. And this is where probably a majority of the traders get caught out because they're thinking the entries is going to happen. You're just better off to sit and wait, even till after the news. Your entry might reappear after the news when all the volume has come in, and then your entry point is there and you go, okay, now I can enter. But so important, as it says, why this is a new trend, folks, is we broke the trend line here in the middle. But then on the left, it broke the previous high. Okay, that's what we like to see. If it breaks my trend line and it doesn't break the previous high to the left, it's not a new trend. Okay, so that to me is two confirmation. We have now got a new trend on the USD JPY. Also, folks, we're on the USD JPY. How is the dollar performing? Because because the dollar is at the front of this pair. So to me, if I look at this, we haven't looked at the dollar must be strong, okay, because there's a new trend form here. So we're going to look at the dollar, which is the USD DX. And there we go, folks. The dollar is in a nice uptrend, okay. And as you can see, I have a blue line there. Let me go down. We'll go down to the 30 minutes. Let me go up to the hour. I'm just looking at different levels. We'll make this better because I want to make sure everybody can see it nice and clearly. So folks, we're at a level at the minute. As you can see, look at the left. There's a lot of resistance, okay? And we have news coming up in 45 minutes. If the dollar breaks all this resistance to the left, we could look at the USD JPY for a really, really big push up. But this is just me and my logic of thinking. I want a retrace first. Why? Because it gives us more push then to kick. Because if I'm looking at this, let's say I'm looking at my RSIs on my phone, and let's say in the 15 minute and the 30, the RSI is up at 75, 80. I know myself that we need to come down first before we can even kick higher, and we can go a lot harder at it, like bigger candles, bigger pushes. So I am expecting to get rejected at this level here. So if we look at the USD, let's go down to the 5 minute. we do want a rejection, okay? It's good because then we can get our entry better. Again, folks, you know, this is just me doing my predictions. At the end of the day, I don't know my next move, so the market definitely doesn't, okay? So it's likes of us as humans, we're trading the markets and we don't know the next move. So the market, it's nearly impossible to say, where is everybody going to place their next trade? Is it going to be a buy? Is it going to be a sell? But what I'll be looking at is to get a retrace here on the USD JPY, because this morning's opening price was down here Wednesday the 7th at 7 o'clock. Okay, so this was the opening to me and it's continuously gone up. So it was at 142.095 and we're now at 143.100, you could say. We had a little retrace here, but it's not much. We could kick up before getting a better retracement. It's like if we're going on a long journey, folks, and you know your car's full to the neck of fuel, and eventually as you keep going, you have to stop to refuel. To me, I look here at these here, this has to stop as well. It can't continue to climb. It has to stop and maybe get a retrace. But the most important, we have found the low here, okay? We found the low of the day. Now what we're looking for is we're looking for the high. If we can get rejected up here, let's say we get rejected and we start coming down, then we can draw our Fibonacci retracement, and this will give us a good idea of certain levels that it could hit. It's not guaranteed, folks. Again, is what it says, not financial advice, but the more confirmations that you have on the charts, it's better for entries. I look for at the least 2 confirmations. If I only see 1 confirmation, it's telling me the risk is so much larger. But if I can get 2, 3 confirmations, it's not guaranteed, but it's giving me more of an idea that my homework is done. I've done my strategies. I have my lines all in place, and this is where I'll place my trade. So that's the USD. Again, this is the euro versus the dollar, folks. Again, the dollar is strong, so the euro is on the other side. So we're expecting this to push down again. If we go to the bigger time frame, let's go to the hour. And you're probably thinking, wow, he has got trend lines. Let's go to 4 hours. And we'll bring it down. We're going to stretch this out so I can show you what I'm thinking. Okay, so we have the trend line coming up and we have the trend line coming down. Okay, so the euro was lovely and strong there for quite a while. We're going up, down, but now we can see the dollar. The dollar had been weak for a couple of weeks, but now the dollar is starting to gain a little bit of strength, so it's pushing the euro back down again. This level here, as you can see, I have a blue line here. If we break that level, I can definitely see it's going down to test my trend line down here.
And what is that level?
That level is 108918. 108918.
Thank you.
So folks, it says we're just a matter, it's watching what the dollar does. Because if the dollar pushes up, let's say the dollar breaks everything to the left here, we should get a nice push up to this level here. So if we get the push up in the dollar, it means the USD JPY is going to push up, and it means the euro is going to continue to weaken. Possible entries. Now we're going to the DAX. This is the one that I trade all the time. And folks, this is where I have made a couple of percent this morning because the DAX has just been completely in free fall. As you can see, again, I have 2 lines here. I broke through this line. I was thinking, okay, I might get a retest here. This is my next line down here at 16518. That's that bottom blue line, okay? You're probably thinking, how do you get those lines? Folks, I don't guess, okay? You can't guess lines. You got to go to the far left and look, we've got resistance over here, okay? So hopefully we can get maybe a little bit of support here. Push back up before we continue to fall. I do think we're going to hit this level here. Let's put in a little line here. I am thinking we're going to get down here. Okay, but as it says, big wicks. This is 4 hours, big long wicks. Again, we're looking for a retracement. There's getting a little bit of rejection here at the bottom of this candle here. If we go down to the 5 minutes, this will tell us lots more. Okay, so folks, you can see it touched my trend line here, and we came down, a little bit of retrace, we fail, a little retrace, we fail again. What I would hope is for a good entry is for the DAX to maybe come up and test this, the trend line. And people are probably thinking, if this came up here, is this not a new trend? To me, folks, is normally when you see a new trend forming, it must come up and break a previous high. But to me, I wouldn't call it a new trend if it broke this high or this high. I would need to break this high for me to call it a new trend. If I go to the 15 minutes, it would need to get back up above this level here. To me, it's the DAX has now started to fall, folks. If we go to the higher time frame, 4 hours, I can show you what I'm looking at. Okay, we had our both previous highs, both got rejected. Okay, so we're up, down, up, down, up, down. The perfect entry this morning was, I'm going to move this one here. I need to unlock it, drag it down, and put it there, unlock it. Okay, so if you're entering a trade this morning in the DAX to sell, the minute it broke that level there, which is 16006, that was your perfect entry for a sale. Because look what happened, a beautiful drop the whole way down. Okay, so you got a lot of pips there. But now, folks, what we're looking for is a retrace to come back up and then continue to drop. I won't enter a sell here now because it's a very risky trade, because there is a retrace coming, which is so important. That's in the 4 hour. Again, we look to the 5 minutes. And as we can see, folks, we have a doji candle here, okay, in the middle. And now we have a nice push up of this candle. This is 5 minutes. Folks, there could be a possible entry here, okay, because there's certain things that I'm looking at, and I've already got the doji's one confirmation. We need another candle to finish strong. Let's just say if there was an entry here, I want to get rid of some of these lines because I need to start doing. Again, folks, for a doji to work, the next candle must finish nice and strong, like a nice upcline. And then, let's say if you had an entry, you put the stop loss on here. You don't give it much room. I wouldn't let the stop loss come away down here. I'd rather have it nice and tight. Let's just say we'll have a possible trade entry. Stop loss is going to be really tight, folks. This is just me drawing. This trade might not actually happen, but I want to get it ready. Okay, and then we're going to do our TP. So, folks, I know we have about 30 minutes to the news, and I need to see where the liquidity is now, folks. Okay. Okay, so we've got liquidity here. We've more there. I want to check the bigger time frames. Okay, so we've got a lot of liquidity in this area. But I'm just checking this out because it might actually get to where I'm thinking. We'll go down to 5 minutes. Let's see what's happening again. As I say, folks, we had a doji, we had a nice green candle, but this candle here, we needed to push up again. You can mark your charts, you think the trade's going to come, and then it just completely goes the opposite way. So again, we wait. This candle, there's still 3.5 minutes in it. It could maybe turn, come back up, but we'll wait. Okay, folks. So straight away here, we got rejected at this level. This black line is a pivot. This isn't a daily, a weekly. This is a much stronger pivot line. I want to see what the fair value is. Okay, let's say, folks, if we get the rejection at this level here, roughly, this is where the next fair value gap is. Okay, so we have quite the drop again, but we need to get the rejection. And another thing is, folks, it's like, we're not, as what I always say, follow the trend because the trend is your friend, okay? I'm not going against the trend. What I would want is for this to drop, to come down here and then find support, and then we get our entry here at a better level, and then it kicks up and it goes further high. That's what I look for, because something is continuously going to go up and up and up. It has to run out of steam and it has to come back down. This is just, again, folks, this is completely broke through this line if it wasn't there. So the dollar is getting rejected at that level, so I'm going to be careful. So we didn't break through here. We didn't break through there. We tried here. We got pushed back. We got rejection. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. Okay. We even tried it over here, folks. We got rejected. So this is an area that the dollar is not liking at the minute. Okay. It's getting rejected. Most importantly, folks, as it says, we got to find our high and our low, and then we'll put on the fib tracement. And this can give us a good entry. But folks, I can see my high or my low, I can see it, but I can't find the other one. You need the high and you need the low, then you draw your fibs, and then you get your entry. But it's just like if it's either going up, it's continuously going up and it's not stopping, or if it's dropping, it's not stopping at all. We might get some volume now, folks, because 2:30, the New York is opening up. Again, I'm not getting, I can just about get one confirmation, folks, and I don't want to enter a trade. Like, folks, I think we were about 2 or 3 minutes ago. No, this candle was way down here, okay? So we got the doji, we got a little bit of, bit of support. We have another doji candle. I would rather they got a little bit of a push up. I mean, if we did enter here, folks, and our stop loss is here, it's a tight stop loss. And this is where our take profits is. Again, let's say if we moved up, folks, I'm going to go down to the minute candle here because I need to see what's happening on the minute. I'm just checking RSIs on my phone. Folks, I'm going to enter a trade on the DAX, the DEX40. I'm going for a buy, okay? I'm putting a buy on the DEX40. Okay, folks, and our stop loss is here, literally 25 pips below our entry. Folks, sometimes I might even come out of the thing before it even hits here. If it breaks this line here, I'll be out. I always take a small loss. So if it breaks this line here, this is why I come out quicker. Okay, folks, so it is in a small profit, folks. Totally, folks, when I call this trade, if you enter, it is completely over to you then to close the trade, okay? I need to put on my fair value gap till we see what is happening. Okay, folks, so this is a possibility. This is where I'm going to be looking at. Folks, the US 30 has, the New York has opened up, so we know this is happening. Folks, this stop loss is going to be right there, tight to this, because if it breaks that bottom candle, it's going to continue to go down. So I will close the trade if it's going to go against me. Okay, folks, so I have closed that trade. Unfortunately, it just didn't go with us. I closed the trade. I took a small loss, folks. It's so important that you have the correct lot size. I only risked myself 0.3 on this trade because there was the entry. Again, folks, that's as what it says, trades go with us, trades go against us. We might have possibly another entry, folks. I'm not calling no more than 2 trades max on one. I'm just going to check these other trades. I just want to check the USD and the euro. Again, folks, the trade did go into profit. It wasn't profit of it wasn't big gains, but it was a small loss. Again, I thought we did get a little bit of support here, but again, it just continued to drop. Possibly, folks, we might get another entry. I'm not going to say no, because there is going to be a retrace on the DAX. When I go to the 4 hours, I'm going to move these lines out. Again, folks, as you can see, it did stop me out. If people stayed on the trade, that's okay. But for me, folks, I took a small loss. To me, it's like a winner. But if people stayed on that trade, it looks like it's going to go back up. We can just sit and watch. Other people can maybe have a bigger stop loss than me, but that's the way I operate, folks. I do have a tight stop loss. There is lots of liquidity. You know, this has been dropping all day. There's like an imbalance now in the markets, folks. And this is what happens. There's not really, if we go to the 30 minutes, I am expecting a retrace back up to touch that trend line. Again, folks, it just seems to be, is what I call, it's just continuously going to fall. It will be something different, folks, to see what the news is going to do. I'm expecting a retrace on most of these when the news does hit, because there's a lot of, that's the 30 minutes. Look at all these candles, 30 minutes continuously dropping. And the markets is probably on edge now because the news is coming up. You see with the dollar, as the dollar got rejected, it hasn't, folks. You can see the dollar, if anything's got stronger. Let's go to the hour, 4 hours. Has it broke? I need to pull in. Okay, so this, let me move this line up a little bit. The top of these wicks, because it's all got rejected at this level here. I'm going to lock that in. So that's the level there. The dollar must break. If not, it's going to get rejected. Go to 5 minutes. USD. Again, folks, if we can look now, okay, the USD is in an area. If we look left, okay, we've got a big fair value gap. So it has now come into it. What we should expect, what we should see, is a retrace back, maybe into this area here, or maybe even this area. Okay, that's what you'd be hoping to come back in to grab some liquidity down here, or even down here, and then continue to go up. Again, this probably won't happen, folks, until the news. Again, if I go back to the DAX, that's
The DAX is just total indecision.
it just doesn't know what to do.
Yep.
It's, folks, there's going to be a retrace.
On the 5 minute, you've got a doji on candle 2, which is always count from the right side. The red one there is candle 1, candle 2 is that one, and it's bumping around.
Folks, as it says, folks, when we get this week over us, you know what I mean? There's lots of red folders today, tomorrow, Friday. Lots of news, lots of stuff going to happen. It's going to affect the markets. Like the DAX has been in free fall. That's what I say, folks. These institutional traders, bigger traders, they know more than us. They know stuff happening behind the scenes. This is why the sale is on. But for me now, folks, I would be very wary of doing a sale now on the DAX. I just wouldn't enter, because I feel myself there has to be a retrace. Same with the USD JPY. There's a doji. We've got rejected, a big doji. if we get a rejection here, there's a possibility we're going to come down again. The euro versus the dollar. The euro must be getting strong. You'd be hoping it would come up. Go to the bigger time frames. Again, folks, it's been down in this area quite a few times. It got rejected, got rejected, got rejected, got rejected. But folks, I think we'll sit. We'll wait for another entry. I'm not just going to call it. I'd rather have my confirmations. And maybe when the news settles, we might get another entry. But it's just the markets are just kind of just indecision at the minute. They don't know whether to go up or to go down. But there's so much liquidity up here. You know, if this can come back up, touch our trend line, it takes out all the liquidity over here to the left, and then it'll make its move down. But again, folks, you know, the DAX, the US 30, the NAS, they pretty much do run side by side. Sometimes they're a little bit out, but most of the times, whatever the DAX is doing, the US 30 is doing. Again, folks, it says we're pushing up on the USD. The euro, folks, I'm not seeing the likes of my double bottoms. I'm not seeing the things that I need to see to call the trades. It's like you would need the euro to come up and break out of this, break these two previous highs. And you might get a little rally up to here before dropping back. But again, folks, I don't think we're going to see this happening until 3 o'clock. Again, by looking at this, folks, this little area here, these are 5 minute candles. You would think the sellers are losing momentum, you know, because there's indecision in the markets. They don't know where they're going. But we must sit and we must wait. I have my lines in place. This is my blue line here. I'm thinking there's a bit of support, maybe support here. If it breaks this line, we could see a big fall. Folks, on the 5 minute, you can see the liquidity. There's lots of it, okay? There's lots of liquidity here in the 5 minutes. But let's say you go up to the 30. There's one big block here. But if you look at this got rejected, folks. But look, it came up and it did touch it. It did touch it, but you wanted it maybe to go on a little bit further and then continue to drop. So we have lots of blocks. This is the fair value gap. I'm going to take this off. And I want to put in my pivots to see where the resistance lines are. Okay, so I've drawn my line here just literally above this one. And then I've drawn my other line here, which is pretty close to this line. Okay, so this one is possibility. It could drop to this area, and you're probably thinking that's a big drop from here down to here. Folks, if you look at this, if you do the 5 minutes, the lines will be pretty much the same. I want to go 30 minutes. An hour. So here is a weekly, as you can see, folks, on the right, and it's a weekly pivot. The candle will probably respect it more than it would respect a daily candle, okay? Because there's more volume, there's more liquidity there, so there's more support. Just want to see what the dollar's doing, folks. I don't think I'll be entering any trades. It's coming too close to the news. And the DAX is just, it's a free fall up. It's just continuously to fall. So I cut my loser here, folks. You know, when I look around and I go, good loser. No, I'm happy. The emotions is completely detached. Why? Because I took it out at a small loss. What has happened? It has continued to fall. That was a good trade. But the one thing, folks, a lot of people does, what I did maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I would have another buy here, I'd have another buy here, and it could continue to fall. And now maybe I'm down at 3-4% of a loss. And before you know it, you're adding another trade. As it Robert says, that book, The Best Loser Wins. Folks, I believe it. I took a loss. It was a good loser. I know for maybe some people who's on the call, it's their first trade, it's their first loss. Folks, as it says, if I could read the charts, tell trades 100% every day, everybody would be on this call. We are going to get trades wrong, okay? Because we can't do this 100%. The most important part, we take our loss. We take a small loss and we close it.
You might take a look at USD JPY. It's moving our way.
Okay. So folks, what I would be looking at is let's just say we found our high, we're getting rejected. This is where I could maybe draw my fib. Okay, so today, folks, at 7 o'clock to me, this is when the market's open for me. That's when the Asian finished, maybe 7, 8 o'clock. So we would draw the fib from here right up to the highest point. Okay, so we're going to, let's just say we found our high and we have our low. We're going to do our fib. So we're going to come down here right to the bottom. So there is 7 o'clock. So we're going to put it here. And we're going to draw it up. Okay. So folks, I can tell you now what I would love to turn and go, this is what's going to happen. So what we're thinking, folks, is we would maybe come, first line we're going to look for here is the 38. Okay. Trace back down. Let's say if I put on my liquidity. Let's go to the 15 minutes. Okay, so this is the first liquidity here. Folks, I think I'm missing a little number here. We'll get that sorted for tomorrow. By looking at the fib, if we break through this liquidity here, let's say we break through it. I'm thinking I think we'll break through the 38 and go to the 50. Maybe retrace to here. This is a possible entry of a buy at this level here. Again, we sit, we wait, we do not enter the markets. And if we do, okay, so we have support lines. These pivots to me are down and around below the 618. Again, folks, you can see here we've got a daily pivot, not a daily. This is a big pivot. These two pivots, if we break, we should go down to maybe 0.5. Need to take some of these off because it can get a lot. Okay, folks, so as we said straight away, we're in here now and we've got a little bit of a fair value gap. But I want it should push. It should be able to push through this, break this line here, and get down into this level. And this is where we get our entry for a buy. And the news coming up in 10 minutes. So there's not going to be any entries. I'm just trying to figure out where is my little icon disappeared. Oh, there it is there. There's my templates. Entry, we're going to, I think, close to this area. So I'm going to move it out so we can see it to the left. Okay, and we're going to do our take profits. Okay, take profits. We probably will go up here again. I will move it. I'm just getting it in line here. And we'll draw the line. And our stop loss. Okay. So possible entry, folks, at the 5-0 marker. Stop loss will just be literally we don't have much of a stop loss again, risk to reward, folks. The reward is bigger. Okay. So we're looking at the bigger reward if it goes the way.
Robert, could you please call out the levels on those for the audio?
Okay. So for the entry, we will be looking at 142.750. The stop loss, 142.554. And the tick profit would be 143.308.
Once more, please.
Okay, so our entry point, folks, again, I will call it at the time entry 142.754. That's the entry. Stop loss 142.554. And the tick profit would be 143.308. Again, folks, we just have to let this do its thing now. With the news coming in, folks, we probably could get this pushed down very, very quickly. News is in 7 minutes. We'll leave this chart. We won't touch it. I'm going to go to the DAX. To move this, get rid of this. Okay. Go down to the minute. I'm just looking at candles, folks. We got a hammer candle. We got another one. What I'm looking for now, folks, is for the DAX to push up. I'm not going to enter it. What I'm looking for is to come close to my trend line. I need to unlock this so I can pull it down a little further. Let's say there, and we're going to lock it up. What is the euro doing? Again, folks, it's doing the exact opposite of what I'm thinking, because the markets, again, folks, people are scared. It's us, the traders, are scared because we don't know what news is going to come out. And the best thing to do, folks, is to sit on your hands and let this take place. Again, folks, this is pushing up. The dollar, I am expecting, folks, the dollar to come down. I definitely am when the news comes out in 6 minutes. It's all about, as we say, at the minute, we do have imbalance in a lot of these charts. We need a correction to make it balance, and then it moves again. And then when it becomes imbalanced, it's looking to come back again for a correction, folks. It's like when something goes up, it must retrace, like a small retrace. It doesn't take much. Especially when I'm on bigger time frame, folks, maybe 15-minute and a 30-minute. If I'm looking at my RSI, let's say the RSI is in around 83, 84, 85. This is an RSI. I'm looking on my phone. It's on my MT4. Once I get up, maybe the 15 minutes, the 30-minute time frame, if that RSI is in around 84, 85, that's when I will put on a sale. But also, it's allowing me then for maybe another sale on top of it, because it's not too often the RSI will go above 90 on the 30 minutes. This is another thing, folks, that we can go through on another day. That the markets isn't giving us the opportunity. Okay, which was good. We came down, we went back up, we respected. So now we might get the push. Folks, what I might do is I do have my lines. Okay, so I would rather it goes through the 38, because if it comes down into the 50, it's a better retrace, you know what I mean? Then it's giving a better push up. And then, folks, if this pushes up, I'm expecting it to break these highs and continue to go higher. Again, folks, the DAX, it doesn't know what's going on. The euro, I think the euro has actually, no, we can agree here it's got rejected 1, 2, 3 times. This morning, let's just say, folks, this is our high. Let's just say this is our bottom. We could maybe try a fib, and we'll see how this is going to fare out. Hold on a minute. I want to get rid of that. That's not working out right. I'm going to put it here. Very important, folks, when you're drawing the fib, this is so careful. There's going to be lots of education, stuff you're going to learn on these calls. Don't ever put the fib at the bottom of the candles. It must go right to the bottom of the wick, or the closest you can get it. Because if it's not set up correctly, it won't match up. Okay, so let's just see. We're going to drag this over here. And we'll move it down. See, it's not at the top of the wick, so that wouldn't match correctly. And there we go. There. Okay, folks, so what we're looking for, we got rejection. See, what could have happened here, folks, if we look carefully, we got the rejection here. But look carefully, we did come up and we nearly touched the 38. So this could have been the low of today, and it came up and it touched our line nearly. What's it going to do now? Continue to fall. Okay, so this fib for me it's gone, because it's already came up and it's touched the 38 mark. So now, to me, I'm thinking the euro might continue to fall. Again, we sit and we wait, but once we get a low, and then once we get a retrace up, and we did touch the 38, we didn't get to it, but we got close. I don't think we're going to get it again. Okay, so that's on the euro. So I'm going to take out that fib, because to me that Fibonacci is not available. Folks, what we're looking at here, when the euro, let's say the euro is dropping because the dollar's strong. If it came up, let's say it broke these two to the left, as long as it doesn't break previous highs, because what we hear is higher high, lower lows. So you can see here, get rid of that. We've got our higher high, lower low. There's our high, there's our low, there's our high, down, our low, our high. We're coming down for our low, higher high, lower lower, higher high, lower low. And look what's happening now, folks. Here's the news. Again, watch what happens. Look at this. We're going to go to USD JPY, because this is one we have marked. Stop loss will be there. Again, folks, it pierced our 38. Let's just wait. Let's just wait, because I don't want to jump in case this comes down and maybe hits the 50 mark. Again, this was one of the entries, which was 0.382. Do you want to check the dollar? Yeah, the dollar got rejected. Okay, the dollar is weak. So it means the euro got strong. Just want to see what the DAX did, folks. It probably didn't do much on the DAX, because it normally doesn't. Okay, folks, we've got a wee wick there on the DAX, as it says it didn't do much. Again, folks, this was that quick. I would like maybe if we got a wee more push down, maybe close to our entry. Again, folks, if you're watching this here and you weren't sure on your fib tracements, you know what I mean? If you were sitting there yourself, there's a good chance you probably would have took that entry there. You'd have come in with your buy, you would have had it set, it automatically hit you in, it brought you into your entry, and your stop loss would be down here below you. But I think there's more liquidity down in this area for it to come down and maybe take it. 15. And stretch it out. The 38, folks, it is a good line. It is a good marker. But if we can get in here to the 50, that means it's a better retrace. Let's see, as the dollar continued to fall. Yeah. Again, folks, you can see it just grabbed the liquidity here. Folks, this probably, as it says, I did go for the 50, but the 38 was possibly the entry. We'll go to the minute. Let me see the minute candles because I can tell you more. Folks, I am looking left, because there is a lot of liquidity here. So make it close to this line and then just it could automatically kick. Because it did come down here. Let's just hope we can get the push back down to the 50 mark. Because I'm always looking for liquidity, these lower lows here, to tick it out before it kicks up. Again, folks, it doesn't always happen, but we'll wait. What the euro do? Again, beautiful push up. It took out these two previous highs, so the euro might now possibly start dropping. This is where we might get our entry, folks. So the dollar's starting to get strong again. It means the move is over. Yeah. So there's another push from the dollar. Let's see. We might get down to this area. Okay, folks, it looks like the 38 it's not breaking through because it has tried it quite a few times. Unless we need the dollar to get weak. But it's not happening. Okay, so the mark was the 38. Folks, unfortunately, we did miss our entry. The 38 was probably the entry, but we'll wait till we see will this come down, but I'm not too confident that it will. Let's see the DAX. Did anything happen? Yep, it did. See to the 5 minutes. Again, folks, we will, as it says, like, we will call the correct entries. I thought just because of liquidity here over to the left, it did come down. I suppose now the more I look at it here, it probably did take out the liquidity here. This big candle here, if I look left, if I mark it, let's say the bottom of that candle is there. So it did take out liquidity, if I'm correct. Okay, so here, these two previous lows, it came down, it grabbed the liquidity. We had maybe a few buyers sitting on here. It came down, it took them out. Folks, we will notice this again. Just that was a little part that I forgot. Okay, folks, I'm not going to call any more trades. It's just that was my only other trade that I was going to call, was either this or this line. Tomorrow, folks, is always another day. I can hand it back over to Robert, folks, and if I see something in the background, I will interrupt and say we have a trade. But folks, a small loss today. Small loss, to me, it's like a winner. But we'll get there, folks. We'll have our trade entries. I'm not big on calling 2 or 3 trades. You know what I mean? One trade, small loss. That's okay. Tomorrow we go again.
Good job, Robert. Lots of information in that whole process. Give me 1 second here, guys, and I'll get this updated. Okay, let me get to where we need to be. Now it's tech out time. So when you're looking at your trading platform, one of the things that when I was new that was not at all clear to me, and I'm going to show you a tool. In fact, I'm going to send it to you right now that will give you the ability to be able to make a more informed decision about position size. And why is position size so important? Because that's your risk. That's how much risk you're taking. And when I was new, I didn't really realize things like, well, what instrument am I trading? Because the position size varies from instrument to instrument. Which broker am I trading on? It varies depending on the instrument. In other words, let me give you an example of that on the US 30, which I trade a fair amount. On a broker, some of the brokers out in the marketplace, like Envy, like Sway, trying to think of some others, they a dollar per index point there would be a 0.01 position. On 8-cap, the same amount, using the dollar as the common denominator, that would be 0.1. On FTMO, on RoboForex, that would be a 1. All the same instrument, but look at the difference in the variance between brokers. Well, if you're new to trading, that can be very confusing. What if you had a tool that automatically looked at what your broker has, what instrument you're trading, what is your account size, and then where are you placing your stop, and then automatically give you the appropriate position size based on all that criteria. What if? And it's such a powerful thing when you see that actually happen. And we're going to see that happen here in just a second. What I want to do is send this out to you via chat. Be sure to click on this link before you leave, and then you'll have this calculator. It's free. It's available for MT4 and MT5, and the instructions are clear on how you get it, how you download it, how you install it. It's a very simple tool to use. So what I want to do is show you the way this calculator works, and I'll show it not on my live account, but on my demo account. Another thing on the checklist is always make sure you're on the right account. In fact, I should add that. I'm going to. Hang on one second. There's these aha moments, and that's one of them. Which account are you on? Okay. So let's go back over here. Let's go to, let's say USD JPY, since we were just looking at that. And now I go up here in my MT5 and I see demo. Check. Okay. Another thing to check is this guy right here. What is the position size here? We're going to come back to this one, but these are things you really need to develop this visual acuity to look at these different things and say, okay, yes, I'm on the demo account. This is, again, think about the airline pilot that's flying the plane, and when she gets ready to take off, but long before she's pushing her throttle to get that thing to run down the runway, all of these items need to be in order in the plane, and it's the same. Really, you don't want somebody flying the plane without going through a checklist, and you don't want to trade without going through your checklist, because you'll forget stuff. It's easy to do. So let's say that we're on this particular instrument, and we're in this case on a MetaQuotes is the broker, so it's really a demo account, but the concept will play out. Here we are on the USD JPY. I can see that up here in the upper left-hand corner. And let's say I want to try I'm gonna just pick one today. I'm gonna pick a short. So look at what happens. The calculator comes up, and I'm gonna change something here. Give me just a second. I'm gonna change a setting. I'm gonna change the setting in the calculator to reflect that we want not points, but price, so we can see where we are. The other thing that you might notice here is that this position size calculator, where I have this placed, you can adjust this. So it's not on top of my one-click trading, it's right below it immediately. Let me show it now. This varies from monitor to monitor. You'll have to play around with this. But if you go to the indicator list and you choose properties, you're going to see here's where you define your risk. In this case, the default risk is 1% per trade. You can choose whatever number is comfortable for you, depending on your risk tolerance. Maybe you don't want to risk 1%. Maybe you want a 0.5%, or even 0.25%, depending on what you're doing. Here down at the bottom, you see position horizontal panel indent is on 20. That gets it over to the right a little bit. That's the indent. And then 80 is down from the top. That's the vertical. So this is the position on my monitor to get it so that it's in a nice position, kind of tied into the one-click trader that is part of the MetaQuotes, the MT5 in this case. So once you have that done, the other thing you can do is save this as a template. So you right mouse click, you go to templates, you go save template, and notice I have one in here, RMB simple chart with PSC. That tells me this is my, I like red and blue, just personal choice. And I want it with the position size calculator. So when I'm looking at my list of templates, I come in here and I go to, where is it? templates. There we go. And notice I've got my simple chart without the position size calculator, and then this one has the position size calculator. It's really handy to have this done because you can come into any instrument and then this thing pops up automatically and it's great. So let's go now back to our short trade. Now, what I want you to focus on here, I didn't do anything other than just click short. Okay, that's all I did. And it shows me my, right where price action is right now. It shows me my stop loss, which in this case, because it's a short, it's going to put the stop slightly above the swing high, which is right there. And the take profit, it automatically put right down here. I didn't do any of that. Okay. What I want you to focus on is there is a 1% risk. In other words, if I look at my account here, I've got a $10,000 account, demo account, and I have about $100 risk. That's 1%. So far, so good. Now, let's just say I go out, let's go out to the 15-minute and see if we got, yeah, okay, I want to do this one because this will make this point very effectively. So I'm gonna go out here. Well, it doesn't really. So yeah, I'm gonna do this anyway because I want you to see this. This is a key point. Here's my risk again of $100. There's my 1%. Let's say that I had some price action out here and I wanted that stop to be a bit higher. Now, first of all, should have started with this. Let me reset and I'm going to do this again. Come on. Well, that's weird. It won't. It's not behaving. Hey, let me try here. There's my short. Now, knowing nothing else, it's looking at my account saying, okay, if you put an entry there and you put your stop there, your appropriate position size based on a 1% risk would be 1.07 on this instrument, on USD JPY. How cool is that? In other words, it's giving you a very precise number based on the risk you're willing to take. This is a number you don't want to wing it. You don't. People do this all the time. They wing the position size and it's like, man, is that crazy? Because you're taking a huge amount of risk if you do that, potentially. Maybe you're not taking enough risk. Is it the appropriate size? Is it too big? Is it too small? Now, watch what happens. Remember this number, 1.07. If I move the stop up, let's say that I was looking at price action and I thought, okay, the stop needs to be up here. Look at what happened to the position size. It went from 1.07 down to 0.64. There's a dynamic relationship between where you place the stop and what the appropriate position size is, as there should be. So if I'm going to move the stop up there, it's going to maintain the risk of 1%, but my position size is the variable. I've got to reduce it. Let's say it's a really crazy, cool setup, and it's way down here. Remember I started, it was like 1.07, but let's just say that I could get away with putting my stop there. And I'm not suggesting this is right or wrong. I just want you to grab the concept here. Look at what happened to my position size. It went way up. It's 2.47 now. So in other words, if you've got an entry that's a really, you see, and it just went through it right there, the stop would have been hit. The point I want you to grab onto here is your position size is relative to what instrument you're trading, what broker you're on, how much money you have in your account, and most importantly, where you set your stop. It's contemplating all of those other parameters automatically. But how cool is that where you can go from instrument to instrument? So if I come over here on Euro USD, let's just say, and let's say I want to buy trade over here. Bang, there it is. And right off the bat, it's giving me a 0.45 position size based on my stop. I think I did that wrong. Hang on, let me do that again. There we go. So my position size on this entry right now, it automatically put the 1% down at the bottom of the swing lows down here. My position size would be 1.78 on this $10,000 account. My take profit would be at the top of this wick right here on candle number 2. Automatically. Now, let's say that I go out on time frame to the 1 hour. Let's go out. I want something that's going to, there we go. Okay. Let's do that same long right here. And let's say that I go, okay, it's 1.81 would be the position size based on the information here. But no, I think my stop should be down here underneath this area right here. If I drag it down, notice it went way down. It went to 0.37. It's going to always maintain the 1%, in this case, the 1% risk right here, $100, $98 in this case. But my position size has to adjust if I'm going to move the stop. This is golden stuff, man. This is really important because if you're increasing your risk and that trade goes against you, you get clobbered. Okay? You get clobbered. Trust me, I know how this feels with real money, not just demo money. And you don't want that to happen. You want to make sure that wherever, if you get it wrong, which the very best in the business get it wrong frequently, you don't want to be having excessive risk. And that number for you, that's your number. You've got to figure out what your risk tolerance is. Is that 1/4%, 0.5%, 1%, 3%? Some people are, they'll really take a lot of risk. That's a very subjective, very personal thing. This allows you, once you've defined that, to maintain that risk profile trade by trade by trade without having to think about it too much. That's what I like, especially this time of the morning for me. Depending on where you are in the world, it may be afternoon. So that's the power of this instrument and the power of this tool. Any questions on this?
Robert, that information is mind-blowing, folks. I have a call I forgot about in literally 6 minutes. We will be back. I'll be back tomorrow, folks. Stay on. This information that Robert is sharing to me is more valuable, folks, than the trading live. This is the proper stuff that you got to get educated on, because I've spent 6 months with Robert learning this, and it's the best part of my trading, the risk management.
Great. Thank you, Robert, and great job today. Look forward to seeing. We'll talk later, no doubt. We have a presentation, by the way, guys. I'd be remiss, and you need to go. You need to go. I can cover this, but at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time, we have a presentation today. It will be going over, of course, Manifest, and also the special promotion that's on for Manifest and our special promotion with this live trading. So be sure to get guests on that. We'll do our best to deliver. And that's an ideal opportunity for those of you that are in builder mode to build your business. So what you're seeing here, guys, is a very simple position size calculator. It's easy to install. It's easy to get your brain around it. Once you start using it, it kind of becomes second nature. And that said, when you see signals from the company, from Manifest, let me get there so you can see what I'm talking about here. A signal comes in, it looks like this. Okay, here's the entry, here's the stop loss. Now, notice you've got 3 take profits, 1, 2, and 3. When you start out, most people are going to just be contemplating 3 things: their entry, their stop loss, and take profit number 1. Keeping it simple, okay? And that's fine, because take profit 1 is the most probable by far. If you're fortunate enough to have that happen, then what you might consider doing is taking a piece off the table. Maybe that's 40%, maybe that's 50%, and then having a remainder amount for take profit 2 and take profit 3. Could you do that? Yes. And that means that you have the opportunity to let these run, but there's more mechanics in all this. When you're starting out, just to keep it straightforward and simple: entry, stop loss, and take profit 1. Well, you now have seen how that plays on this calculator. And the thing that's missing from that is, what size is your account? What broker are you on? How much, what instrument are you trading? All of those are variables that affect your position size. So if I was trading different instruments like Let me see if I can get gold here on this demo account. I'm not sure if I can or not. We will see. XAU, I can. Happy days. At least I think I can. Let's see. I want a chart for that. Now, here's the demo chart. I'm not really crazy about their colors, so I'm going to go over here to my templates. I could choose the regular one right here that I do, which is just kind of my basic one for blue and red. Or I could I could choose the one because I already saved my template with the position size calculator. Voila, there we go. We're trading gold now. Gold is a completely different instrument than USD, JPY, or Euro, or DAX, or any of the stuff we're trading. And the point I really want to drill home here is they all have different position sizes. So if you're trading the same position size, how come? They're different. You really need to have something that will help you embrace that without having to do a whole lot of math yourself, because this thing's doing all the math for you. So let's say I want a long now, just for grins. And there we go. What did it do? It opened right here. It says, okay, here's your opening, your entry. Here's your stop loss down at the swing low. So it's recommending a position size of 1.34 to maintain my risk of $100. Again, I'm on a 10K account. This is 99.43. It's about, let's call it $100. That is a 1% risk of 10,000. Excuse me. So it puts the take profit up here. You can adjust the take profit wherever you want. But if you're using the signals like this, you come over here, and you get your signal that comes in on your Telegram, which looks like this. You take the entry, you set the stop loss, and see if you adjust the stop loss yourself, that's fine. That's what you should be doing. But you're going to see the impact on your position size because it's dynamic. So if we got that signal, what we'd be doing would be we'd set the entry wherever it is. So, whatever was called out on that signal, we would set the stop. We can drag it around. Let's say it's right there. Notice that the position size just went up because it's a smaller distance to the stop. The risk is the same, which means you can load the wagons. If you really thought it was going to really rip up the other direction, have a tight stop. If you're wrong, you still maintain your risk profile. But if you get it right, you're going to make a lot more money because the position size is bigger. Conversely, if you say, well, I really think it needs to be down here, notice what happened to your position size. It went way down, as it should. It's dynamic. Any questions on this? Don't be shy, guys. If you've got a question, chances are very good somebody else does too. There are no dumb questions. I want you to get this, and that's easier when you interact with me. So if you're scratching your head about something, chime in. This is interactive sport here.
I see you recorded it, so
Yes.
we could see it later. Okay.
Yeah, actually, all of this is all streamed over to YouTube, so you can grab onto all this. Yeah. Thankfully, that allows me not to have to go through lots of gyrations to regenerate, to recreate videos and so forth. So what you'll see now coming, and I don't know exactly when we're going to do that. It will probably be a few weeks, but this is the simple one. Now, if you took this signal right here that was generated on the by manifest, let me get rid of this and this and find the one that I want, which is this one. If you took this, notice that there are 3 take profits. How come? Because there's the initial one, which is the probable one, and then you might take a partial profit there and then have the remainder run to these 2 different levels if you were very fortunate in that trade. That's a really big winning trade potentially. How do you do that? Let's explore that now. There's going to be stuff. This is new information now. Let's say that I follow the system's advice on a long, which I'm just choosing this arbitrarily, not doing any analysis, but to show you the mechanics. The first thing I have to do is look at my position size. Excuse me just a minute. I've got to clear my throat here. Give me a moment. I don't know if it's mold in the Northwest or what it is that's killing me, but it's it's killing me with regularity and consistency. I didn't have this when I went to Romania, so I think there's my savior health-wise is going there. I think there's some kind of mold where I am in the Pacific Northwest that I'm allergic to. And my sister, I do smoke cigars. She never did, and she has the same thing. So we've got a genetic thing with this thing, I think. So let's say that I want to take this trade right now. I want to take a long trade because that's what I chose, the direction I chose. Now, the next thing I have to do is I have to go up here to my one-click trader and make sure that number in there, which is now 0.21, matches my number over here. So I've got to change that to 1.06 right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to execute that trade. Bang. Whoops, I haven't traded on this demo account before. I'm going to execute that trade and boom, I'm in the trade. Okay. So now, and I'm not, I'm just playing here to show you how this stuff works, as far as the concepts, not that this is a smart trade to take at all. I just want to show you the mechanics. Let's pretend for a moment that it was going my way. Or let's pretend it's not have to pretend it's not going my way. This has already turned into a $170 loser because I didn't do any analysis. But let's say I want to take some of that loser off the table. I've got a 1.06 position. Could I take a partial? In other words, reduce my position size. What do you think? Could I do that? I get a yes from Robbie. Yes is the correct answer. I would double click right there. Let's say that I want it down to, I want to take off half approximately. So I'd put in not 1.5, I'd put in 0.5. And then what I would do is close 0.5. Notice my position size here is 1.06. And boom. There we go. I went from 1.06 to 0.56. I just took half the position off. Now, this was reducing a loser, but it's the same mechanics if you had a winner. You want to take a partial, you want to take 50% of your position off and take the profit out that is reflected of half of your profit right at that point. That's how you do it. Then you might set your take profit level to the next one on your trade, on your signal. You can set it at that level and set when it hits that level, you're going to take out another, let's say 25% for the sake of discussion. It hits, then you move your stop up. Some of this stuff it's going to be repetition because there's a lot of information that I'm giving you right now that if you're unfamiliar or you're brand new, don't freak out, don't panic. It will be on the test, but later. The benefit of this is that you're learning how to manage your trades. That's what we're really up to right here. You're the first big one is, are you getting the position size right when you enter the trade? This is going to help you a lot. Make sure that you get your position size correct when you enter the trade. Then once you're in the trade, there's two ways to do partial profits. In other words, take profit 1, 2, and 3. Those are partial profit numbers potentially. Initially, could you just have take profit 1? That's it. You go full bore on your position size. If it hits it, you're out, you're done, on you go. Cool. You can absolutely do that. If, however, you said, I want to see sometimes if I take out maybe half of my trade when it hits take profit 1, and then I want to have 25% for take profit 2 and 25% for take profit 3. Could you do that? Yes. You can do that two ways. One is to have one position that you enter initially and take a piece of it off, as I just showed you. The mechanics to do that, I just showed you. Then it gets up to take profit 2 level. You take 25% off more, maybe. These percentages are up to you. But this is the mechanics. And then you move your stop up to above where your entry was. So no matter what happens, in other words, if you look on MT4, If I want to set a stop right now, which I always should do, by the way, which I didn't do. Let's say that I want my stop down here where this line is that the calculator computed. I position my pointer, my mouse pointer over the entry line, the green line right there, and I just drag down, and I've now created the stop. There it is out there. And it's telling me if my stop hit that level right there, that I would lose 467 bucks. So that's considerably higher than, actually, no, let me make sure I'm not lying. There we go. That's because my position size is so much bigger. So there you go. Now, if I wanted my take profit up here, there you go. I now have my trade, my entry, my stop, and my take profit on this trade. Does that make sense to everybody? The way that we're going to be working this in the, downstream is as people's skills improve on this stuff and they get this concept, there's a more involved calculator that allows you to have multiple position sizes. So you say, okay, I want a 1% risk. I want 40% to be in position 1, 25 in 30% in position 2, and 30% in position 3. What it will do is it will automatically then slice up that 1% risk into the appropriate position sizes for 1, 2, and 3 automatically. And it's a free calculator. It's a dandy. It's really good, but it's involved. And if you're new, it'll be way over your head. It just will. There's a lot of moving parts. So it's better to get the simple one, get it under your fingers, get your brain around it, then move to the position size calculator that's more advanced. So that will be something we do in time and on this class. Any questions on this, guys? Don't hesitate if you've got questions. I sent you the position size calculator. They have links for MT4 and MT5 that you can get in there. Also, we'll be doing the same thing on TradingView because there are tools that are just like this that are embedded. If you're fortunate enough to be in a country that allows you to have good brokers on your TradingView, that will be useful to you. The challenge, if you're a U.S. citizen, is finding a broker that is a really good broker that integrates with TradingView and is still available to U.S. citizens. Don't shoot the messenger. I don't like it either. But it just is what it is. Did you move your entry line up and down to fix your? No, I didn't. Let me reset it and we can do it again. That's just an easier way to just revisit everything. I'm going to close that loser. I'm thinking we're going to find support here. We'll see if I'm right this time. Click there. I'm going to have to probably move my stop. And now notice it went right to this most immediate swing low, which is right there. So this would be a giant position size if I were to do that, and I wouldn't do that. I would want to move my stop down below maybe this swing low down here. See over here, I'm looking left to make that decision, maybe even slightly lower than that. And my 9 lot size is now 1.56 here on gold. So it's adjusted that considerably as I move my stop down. Then if I make my entry right now, boom. Whoops, sorry, that was not the right button. There we are down there. I adjust my position size to reflect that. Let's say 1.54 on the actual entry that I'm doing right here. And I go buy. Now, if I want to create my actual stop, I just drag down here and then drag up. Whoops. Let me get there to right here. Let's say, if it were to do that. And that's it. So, oh, you're welcome, Ravi. Okay. If there's any other questions, please chime in. If not, I think we're going to wrap it up for the day, and we'll start again tomorrow. Again, we have a presentation coming up in looks like 4.5 hours, 4 hours and 20 minutes, noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 UK time. Encourage you, if you're a builder, to have people on there. We'll do our best to deliver the goods on why this is a great business for those that are interested in building their business with Manifest. So I think ending on a positive note here, we have a positive trade, not a huge one at the moment, but there you go. would have been a decent little bite-sized long right there. It's up to 70, 80 bucks, bouncing around 90 bucks, 47 bucks. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring this in for a close. Thank you very much for attending today. We appreciate you and look forward to helping you make more money in the Forex market. And so may the pips be with you. This is Robert Burns here in Seattle.